Honorable nominated member Ndeye Yasin, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Chair. Without going back to the list of the witnesses, just to avoid repetition, I think I will go straight to the selected committee members in attendance. And remember, it is the skin bleaching prohibition 2021. Instead of 2020, it is 2021. Just alluded to by my chair. So the members in attendance were Honorable Usman Silla, who is the chairperson, and Honorable Fatoumata Kei Jawara, the vice chairperson, Honorable Amadou Kamara, member. We had Honorable Musa Amul Nyasi, also a member. Honorable Kadi Kamara, member. Honorable Ndeye Sinseka, member. Honorable Omar Dabo, member. Honorable Sekou Marong, member. The secretaries were the secretaries in attendance also were Sarata Bojang, secretary, Aisatu Sonko, also secretary. So now we will go to consideration, scrutiny, and findings. Consideration, scrutiny, findings, and recommendation. In his welcoming remarks, the chairperson commended the stakeholders for responding to the invitation to come and serve as witnesses. He informed the witnesses, stakeholders, that Honorable Minister for Justice has introduced series of bills before the Assembly that were committed to the committee for further scrutiny and report its finding and recommendation to the Assembly for consideration and approval. According to him, the Skin Bleaching Prohibition Act, Cap 1308, Laws of the Gambia, 2009, is among the bill under the scrutiny of the committee. The chair noted that although Skin Bleaching Prohibition Act, Cap 1308, Laws of the Gambia, 2009, repeal bill was rejected at the second reading, the ABC committed it to the committee at the plenary for consideration. Evidence of witness. Oral evidence. When the witnesses were invited to present their evidence, almost all of them, except the Child Protection Alliance, CPA, were in support of the repeal, emphasizing that although the practice of skin bleaching has some negative health cultural, and social implications, it is nonetheless a matter of choice. For the CPA, its concern is the influence it can have on children to be taking up the practice for its attendant health implications. It was argued by both in support of repeal that it is a piece of legislation that can never effectively enforce that if it is any attempt, if there is any attempt by the police enforcement, it would very likely be discriminatory on the basis of selective justice and can lead to social stigmatization and strife. The witnesses added that law has been in place since 2009, but never implemented, save so few unsuccessful attempts, which were merely public shows. They therefore included They therefore concluded that law that cannot be implemented is as good as dead and thus should have no place in the statutory books. The recommendation from the majority is for the law to be repealed as proposed by the executive, which is responsible for its enforcement. So, my fellow National Assembly members, you heard that. It is the executive, so I don't see any reason to beg your indulgence to support this bill. In conclusion, the committee has considered the unanimous position advanced by the witness. Could not agree more with their conclusion that this law is unenforceable and discriminatory. The committee is further convinced by the argument advanced by the witnesses that an enforceable and discriminatory law is not fit for purpose. As such, it is recommended to the plenary to reconsider and repeal the Skin Bleaching Prohibition Act, Cap 1308, Laws of the Gambia, 2009. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable member for Nyanija, please. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, my honorable colleague, nominated member Yasin Seka. I rise to second the motion. And as a member of the committee, I also want to create the indulgence of this August Assembly to let us go by the recommendation of the committee as the tax was given to us, and we've engaged and we've consulted widely, and I think it's just better we just repeal this, as this law is definitely not enforceable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. I now put the question. It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report of the Select Committee on Health, Women, Children, Disaster, Refugees, and Humanitarian Relief on skin bleaching, Prohibition and Repeal Bill 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. No. The ayes have it. No. No.
Honorable Speaker, I think we should vote about not yes or no.
Honorable Member for Serakunda, please. The floor is yours.
Honorable Speaker, the issue is a report to be reviewed. So even if people say no, because look at Standing Order 66. You see, this is different from a constitutional amendment, which has specific provision in the Constitution requiring certain steps. Standing Order 66 says, following the first reading, the stages of the Assembly consideration of a bill shall be, it's mandatory. And it goes to all the stages. It must go all the other stages. If you don't agree at the third reading, you reject it. But the stages must be followed, unless it is a bill dealing with the Constitution.
Thank you for that clarity. Honorable Member for Sandu. Yes.
Do you allow us to debate now? I said whether you are allowing us to debate now.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable Assembly do consider the report of the Select Committee on Health, Women, Children, Disaster, Refugees, and Humanitarian Relief on skin bleaching prohibition, repeal Bill 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Any honorable member who wishes to take part in the debate may do so by raising your card. Yes. Take the names. Elias.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, before I start the debate proper, I just want to remind the Assembly that a similar motion like this was tabled in the Assembly in 1996, but it was rejected as the attempt to repeal this particular clause in the Act. I thank the honorable members who has voted against it to make sure that anything of such should not be entertained in this country. Honorable Speaker, there's a purpose of human being to live on the earth. This is not my word. It's word from our Creator. And that is, Allah states, I quote, said, وَمَا خَلَقْتَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Honorable Speaker, and this is a clear hadith. Skin bleaching to change your color from the color that your Creator has given to you to another color that will stay for permanent, Honorable Speaker, is haram. And two, it is very clear again that Allah states the act of bleaching, we all know there are so many implications. One, either you are trying to establish a relationship, or you are trying to promote prostitution. Honorable Speaker, and what Allah has said, Allah did not even say don't do it. Allah says do not go near it. And this is very clear. Allah says, وَلَا تَخْرَبُوا zina. Don't go near it. And Honorable Speaker, skin bleaching, when we look at it holistically, if you look at the health aspect, we all know when Yahya Jammeh did not promote or allow the importation of skin bleaching product in this country, it has so many reasons. One, the products are toxic, they are harmful to the environment, and also it is harmful to your health. There are so many elements that they mix to produce these products. One of them is mercury. We know it's toxic. Yeah. Again, it also damages your skin by damaging the melanin. The doctors are here. Honorable Speaker, skin bleaching. There is no religion that will promote skin bleaching. And if you do, we are going against Allah's will. That's the fact. Yes, we have the power as National Assembly, but your Creator has more power than you. If you read, it says, the bill entitled, an act to repeal the Skin Bleaching Prohibition Act, Cap 1308, Laws of the Gambia, 2009, as it found to be discriminatory against women and girls in the Gambia in furtherance of the Gambia's international obligation. There was a time I argued about this. Honorable, if you don't have hope on yourself and you depend on others, you will dance to their tune. There is nothing more obligatory than what your Creator has assigned you to do. Our international obligation. I don't think we should value our international obligation more than what your Creator has asked you to do. Skin bleaching is against our norms and our values. Is against our religion. And that's the purpose why we are living. When your Creator says, I did not create you and the jinn, it's only to worship me. Then you said, no. Allah has created me black, but Allah has made a mistake. I should be white. In the West, almost if you go and make research, they only said statistics shows that skin bleaching is in Africa. So even say 40% of African women. But you will never see that the skin bleaching is in America, in UK, or what have you. They even go further mentioning some countries. Where are we getting that? There are countries who banned the importation of skin bleaching products. And if we endorse it, Honorable Speaker, as National Assembly, the only thing that I can do to show my dissatisfaction that I'm not going to support it, and if this endorsed, is collective responsibility, but not Mahanera. In the name of Mahanera, I will not support skin bleaching. Honorable Speaker, when we allow this, we are not thinking about only the elderly people, the school-going children. Honorable Speaker, you will never have any control over your child again. The child will get this product at their disposal, and they will start using it at the tender age. Before they get to the old age, Honorable Speaker, all their skin will damage. May God forbid you are sick, and the sickness demand operation. You have lost the melanin of your body. Honorable Speaker, if Allah did not help you, they will not operate again, and you will die. Even if they operate again, because the melanin is lost, the thread, your body can never hold the thread again. So, Honorable Speaker, this is something that we, as Muslims, what we believe in. We should not mind whatever anybody want to say anything, but as a country that is brought to damage our society, I don't think we should allow that. International obligation is one thing, but the obligation of your creator is superior. So, as Muslim, you will even be suppressed in your heart that states, a cabinet like this nature will sit over this, and a state minister who is a Muslim will bring this kind of bill to this assembly. Let us remember, all your living, you live for a purpose, and you never live for anybody. If you live and do good, then the next world you will enjoy. But when you say, people say you can never judge where I will be. But our Creator said it in the Quran. Every human being, you are born to be a Muslim, unless otherwise, or you want to take any other routes. But it's very clear, even if your good deed cannot take you to Jannah, you have to try what you can. But you should not be lazy, and you should not be keep quiet when something is coming to destroy Muslim Ummah. Honorable Speaker, I want to appeal to all honorable members to look at this issue critically and make sure that let's think what we are doing. There's one thing, if you do something that annoys or anger Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are destroying yourself. And we don't pray for that. And if Allah is bringing punishment, we will not look at you are a Muslim, you are a Christian, you are a non-believer. The punishment will fall on everyone. And may God forbid. Our living in this world is very short. If you have 60 years, you thank God. Very few people who will go beyond 60 years. And we can witness it nowadays, what is happening. I think we have pertinent issues rather than this bill. If you look at the volatile situation of this country in terms of security, that should be scary. We have other things. People are here who are without water for 56 years. We have health disparities. So, Honorable Speaker, those issues will be more important to discuss than to discuss skin bleaching. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Sandu. Honorable Member for Jara East, the floor is yours.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I rise to express my strong condemnation with regards to this bill, this motion before us. To use my colleague's strongest. Honorable Speaker, allow me to first and foremost felicitate the presenter for what I will call a historic presentation. Honorable Speaker, as alluded to by the chair of the Health Committee, history was indeed made in these hallowed chambers. We call it innovation, if you like it. Honorable Speaker, for the first time since the coming into being of the 5th Assembly and that of the Second Republic, this is the first of its kind for a report to be presented via tactile application, that is braille, by feeling it through your fingers. And this is quite historic. And I believe fervently it will go in the annals of our history for having made such a giant step. Honorable Speaker, now to come to the issue under discussion, which is the report of the Select Committee on Health, Women, Children, Disaster, Humanitarian Relief and Refugees of the National Assembly of the Gambia on the repeal of the Skin Bleaching Prohibition Bill 2021 as opposed to 2020. Honorable Speaker, there are lessons to be learned here. Honorable Speaker, I will not feel ashamed.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Based on what authority? Member for Lower Badibu.
Yeah, 67-2, second reading. It says, if the motion is carried, the clerk shall read aloud the short title of the bill and shall declare it to have been read for the second time. Honorable Speaker, I stand to be corrected, but I think on the 16th of July 2020, this bill was here before us and it was voted out. So could we go back to the record and see before we proceed? Because if not, what we are doing, it doesn't go in line with the standing orders.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Member for Serakunda, I saw your card.
Honorable Speaker, do we continue to repeat? Could all members go to Standing Order 66? Opposing the bill does not mean that it will still not proceed. It will proceed, and you can reject it at the third stage, third reading. There's nothing saying that you amputate the process. The process proceeds.
Yes. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I think the member is right, but I just want to confirm for the purpose of record whether this bill is voted out on the 16th of July or not.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
I want the honorable member of Lower Baribu to understand that the bill that we are looking at is a new bill. If we have an old bill that has been thrown out, it's not this bill.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member for Lower Badibu, I think we can proceed now.
Yes, I just want to make an observation.
Let's proceed.
I just want to make an observation.
Can you consider this the report?
But you raised on the point of order. You don't give us any authority.
Still is personal choice. When I'm on a personal choice, so please put that.
Hello. Honorable member for Lower Badibu, who will proceed.
Honorable Speaker.
Can I now call on Honorable member for Sumbala? Oh, sorry. Yara East. Yes, you are still on the. Yes, you can go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for your generosity. Honorable Speaker, we pride ourselves when we are referred to as fair-colored or when we are referred to as fair in complexion.
Honorable Speaker, can I observe something, please? Just observation. Honorable Speaker, I believe if the bill is rejected and it is coming back again, it has to be a new bill. So I believe this should be the first reading. But it cannot just come to be the second, because it is rejected at the second stage.
Honorable member for Lower Badibu, what's your proof to that this bill is rejected? This bill is not rejected. Yes, it is not rejected.
It was rejected here. Good. So, therefore, if it is correct, there has to be a new one. Something that is rejected. No, it is already was negative. Second reading was negative. No. It was not committed. Of course. No, the ABC committee. It was rejected on the system. So if you are bringing it up, it's not rejected. Let them go back to the record. It was not rejected.
Honorable member for Woodley West.
Honorable Speaker, I always say that we must be an example. We must be models to be copied. Is it logical that a bill that was rejected was referred to a particular committee to work on? How is that possible? So the committee worked on it even where it was rejected. Yes. How logical is that? My friend, let's not waste our time.
Honorable members. Please.
Honorable Speaker.
Motion, please. Honorable member for Jara East, please, can you proceed?
Motion, Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I want to make a motion, please.
Please, allow the honorable member for Jara East to proceed. Honorable member, please.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Chair. Chair.
Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, sorry.
Honorable member for Jara East.
Honorable Speaker, can I come
on my feet?
Honorable member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai.
Excuse me. I think even the report itself said that the chairman noted that although the skin bleaching provision laws of the Gambia repeal was rejected at the second reading, the ABC committed it to the committee of the preliminary consideration. So even the report said it was rejected.
That's a wrong procedure.
On reading.
Yes.
And then at the same time refer to a committee.
To a committee, yes.
What is the confusion in that? Honorable member for Serakunda, please.
Honorable Speaker.
Okay,
Honorable Speaker, this procedure is very clear, and we should not really confuse ourselves. Standing Order 67 says, on a motion being moved that the bill be read a second time, the general merits and principles of the bill may be debated. And then it goes further. If the motion is carried, the clerk shall read aloud the short title of the bill and shall declare it to have been read for the second time. This is the procedure if. Now, what about if it is rejected? What do you do? That's the question. Go to 68. It says that when a bill has been read a second time, it shall stand referred to the Assembly Business Committee for committal to a committee. Now, the key here is 66. That's our guide. What should be done? It says that following the first reading, the stages in the Assembly's consideration of a bill shall be second reading, committee stage, consideration stage, third reading. Shall be is mandatory. Unless you have something stated here to the contrary, which says that you throw it out, then tell us where it says that when it's rejected, you throw it out. If it is not there, then we should follow the stages, and at the consideration stage, you may reject it. This is different from a constitution. The constitution specifically said at the second reading, you must have 3/4 majority. That's the constitution. It's the supreme law. It's supreme to this. It's not silent. And that's why we were able to say, second reading, get rid of it. But that's not the situation with ordinary bills. Please, unless you have something to tell us that quote the section that says that we should throw it away.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Serakunda, for that clarity. Honorable members, we will proceed. Honorable Member for Yara East, could you please go ahead?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. After a series of intermittent interruptions. Honorable Speaker, one is proud when one is referred to as fair-colored, and one is not happy when one is referred to as being black or dark. Honorable Speaker, this sounds ironic. It's quite ironical. Honorable Speaker, I'll be proud even if I'm as black as an ebony. E-B-O-N-Y. It's very black. It's dark black, ebony. Because I'm African. I'll be very proud if I'm referred to as being dark as an ebony. Honorable Speaker, we have a problem. I don't know what we are going to tell the likes of Osajifo, i.e. Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, these great African men and women of dignity, when we meet in the other part of the world. Honorable Speaker, it is high time for Africans to value their own selves. You see, life is not about putting on beautiful dresses, but life is predicated on values. Life is based on values. It is values that makes a man. And I think it's high time for Africans to respect our own values. Honorable Speaker, I had a short stint in the United States of America, but I have never seen during my sojourn a white lady bleaching, or even thinking of bleaching, or maybe trying to apply colors that will make him, that will make her to look dark. I have never seen it. If you have seen one, you can help me. I have never seen it. But here we have our African sisters and our African brothers, and here I don't want to be biased. We have men who are also, eroding their skin as well. It's not limited to only women. We have men who are in the habit of eroding their skin as well. Honorable Speaker, I think this is very unfortunate as Africans. Honorable Speaker, to come to the health implications of skin bleaching, and thank God, my better half is a nurse. I have an iota of, understanding or some health distinct. Honorable Speaker, the skin is divided into different, regions or sections, layers. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this top layer is what is called the epidermal layer. The epidermal layer. Under the epidermal layer, you have the dermis. Under the dermis, you have the conified layer, which is very soft and delicate. Honorable Speaker, if one applies bleaching agents or creams on your skin, it destroys your skin, it erodes your skin. I think before I come down to the religious aspect, I will first deal with the health aspect. And later I'll come to the human rights dimension. Honorable Speaker, it beats my imagination as an African. Some people, they'll tell you, oh, you are too dark, you are too black. Not knowing that we are insulting our very selves. Allow me to digress, Honorable Speaker. They will say, ki ku ñaaw la dafa ñuul ki ku ñuul la ñu fi ndabakel. Honorable Speaker, those things are quite derogatory. They are derogatory remarks. Derogatory remarks against our very own selves. Hardly you'll see a white man or a white lady using derogative language against herself or himself. Hardly. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at our Constitution, the way we are made up as human beings, one of the greatest artists, the best of the artists, best of the best, is God. And the moment man was created, God, exalted himself, praised himself as having been one of the best artists the world over. Isn't this a food for thought, Honorable Speaker? But still people are hell-bent on eroding their skin, hell-bent on demeaning, belittling their very selves. Honorable Speaker, I think this is a cause for concern. This is a cause for concern which ought to be addressed, and if need be, a national conversation be conducted so as to deal with the pros and cons of this skin bleaching issue. Honorable Speaker, to come to this report of the Select Committee on Health, it says, with your indulgence, that oral evidence, when the witnesses were invited to present their evidence, almost all of them except the Child Protection Alliance, CPA, were in support of the repeal, emphasizing that although the practice of skin bleaching has some negative health, cultural, and social implications, it is nonetheless a matter of choice. I want to underline this, a matter of choice, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are a lot of things that are a matter of choice, but we dislike them. Honorable Speaker, stealing could be a matter of choice, but we dislike it. Honorable Speaker, if I stand here and talk loudly, or I scream here, it will be seen as something out of the ordinary. But it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. But is it a good matter of choice? Or is it a positive matter of choice? You see, unless we understand and appreciate the dichotomy that exists between good and bad, and that which is appreciable and that which is not appreciable, we cannot make a headway. Honorable Speaker, there are certain things when you do in a society, sociologists or psychologists, they will define you as a social deviant. You will be seen as a social deviant, that you are somebody who deviates from the norms and values of society. So therefore it is important for us not to be called social deviant, because it means we have done something that is at cross purposes with social norms and values. Honorable Speaker, I could vividly remember, I said it here, that when I was going to Muslim high school, I authored an article. It was captioned, "Skin Bleaching, Culture or Commerce." Honorable Speaker, no one will tell me that skin bleaching is culture. We all know it's something alien. We don't know it at all. Talk less of the health implications. Honorable Speaker, let's come to the religious dimension. Member for Sandu made a good presentation. He went on to, he quoted some, verses from the Holy Quran, which are quite good. Honorable Speaker, I can say almost all religions speak against skin bleaching. If you go to the scriptures of the Christians, they will not say skin bleaching is good. If you come to the Islamic scriptures, you will never find it good there. That which is bad, and that which is good, is good. This is the law of nature. When you come to the issue of skin bleaching, there is no two-way traffic. It's only one-way traffic. It is bad, abhorrent, diabolical, devilish, and dangerous. There is no two-way. There is no two-way, Honorable Speaker. I think if we want to help our sisters, if we want to empower our sisters, our girl children, our wives, we have to tell them on the face that it's not about massaging the truth, that skin bleaching is bad. It's bad. Because you are destroying your own skin. And you are making yourself look low upon. When people look low upon you, you feel embarrassed. You don't feel happy. But instead, it is your very self that is looking low upon yourself. Now, who is to blame? Who is to blame? And there are very simple things to know that Madam X is bleaching or not bleaching. You see, just have a look at the knuckles. Knuckle is a generic term, that is the elbows, the kneecaps, and below the tendon, the angle. You know it very well. You know it. That this guy is not a white person. It's as black as an ebony. You know it. Very simple. You know it. And the moment you stop, bleaching, you become darker than an ebony. One of my friends will say, you have Coca-Cola legs, Malta legs, Fanta legs. So, I mean, it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay. All of us are victims. I have people who are bleaching. I want to be very, focused and very balanced and very unbiased in my intervention. But the onus is on me and it's on you to educate our sisters. We must learn to be our sisters' keeper, as we are our brothers' keeper. Honorable Speaker, skin bleaching is a no-go area as far as I'm concerned. I have never been an advocate. I have never been a great admirer. And I'll continue to speak against it vehemently. As long as I can breathe, I will against it. As long as I continue to inhale and exhale. I cannot understand it. I can't understand it. A human being, you just wake up in the morning just to demean yourself, bring yourself down. What are you going to say if you have a 12 friend? He's going to laugh at you. He's going to laugh at you. Yes, because you have demeaned yourself by eroding your skin, telling the greatest artist that created you that I'm not satisfied with your creation, that your creation has some element of deficiency. This is the stark truth. This is the stark truth. That's what we are saying. That one of the best artists has an element of deficiency in his creation. That you are not satisfied, you are not happy, and as a result, you want to erode your skin. Honorable Speaker, it does not require much intelligence. Even you immerse yourself in a bleaching pan, you can never consider as a white person. Let's have a barrel here, you immerse yourself in the barrel. You never will call a white lady. No way. In fact, the moment you are out of the barrel, it will just be like from the frying pan into the fire. You become as dark as an ebony. Not even charcoal, but ebony. Because ebony is deep dark. So, Honorable Speaker, I think there is need for us to help our sisters for the sake of humanity, for the sake of, sharing the same identity, for the sake of the same bondage, for the sake of, our Africanness. Because you cannot stand and, say you are going to be called, a Pan-Africanist when you have your brothers and sisters going against those Pan-Africanist principles. Even the health implication alone is sufficient ground to do away with skin bleaching. Talk less of the religious aspect, even the health aspect. But the religious aspect also is very important, Honorable Speaker. Because there is a just judge that will account all of us, and that is the Almighty God, the most merciful. So we must always think of that. And Honorable Speaker, it does not require much intelligence to know that. You see, the way things are created, there is a chain. Death is the first chain. And the last chain is also death. Because God said he created, death first. And after life comes. So we must be mindful of the fact that one day we leave this world. So I'm imploring on my sisters to please rethink, to please have a second thought. Please, that will be very helpful. Because the game is not worth the candle. That is, the undertaking is not worth the trouble. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Jara East. I now call on Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to join my colleagues to thank the presenter of the report, nominated member Ndeya Senseka,
that the Health Committee have made history for her to be able to lay the report. Obviously, we are very happy. We want to thank her on that. But also to tell you, the comments towards the report is not yours. It's from a clear concern that it has to be. Honorable Speaker, I think I don't want to waste the time of the Assembly. I'm still going to maintain my previous position in the first reading of this bill, that I will never support it. Based on the justification that the executive is bringing, that it is difficult to implement it. It is not my duty to implement, it is them. So if they cannot implement it, that's to them. But Honorable Speaker, I want to take the Assembly to the committee's report and compare with other reports. In other reports that we've discussed and those that are coming for us to discuss, they've listed so many institutions that they've consulted and they put their argument on the report. But on this other one, it is only the argument of CPA, only the argument of CPA that they brought. So that means if they are going to be fair to us, it was difficult to have institutions to back the repealing of this bill. So obviously, and I would want to go with the justification of the CPA that it will have an impact on our school-going children, especially girls, but it also have health implications, social implications, and more especially religious implications. So for that being the case, not to go deeper, because the religious side, Honorable Member for Sandu has talked about that, cultural health, the member for Ijara Issa have talked about that. I still maintain even on more on that point, that I am against the repealing of this bill based on the justification being put forward by the executive, that it is discriminatory, it is difficult to enforce, and then a law that cannot be enforced is as good as dead. Let it be dead there. But I will not be part of the people who will tell the Gambian people that, yes, it's open, if you feel like you do it, if you don't feel like you do it, because of the base background that I come from, and I believe, both the health, the cultural, the social, and the religious. So for that being the case, Honorable Speaker, not to keep the time of the Assembly, I am against the repealing of it at this stage, and I will always be against the repealing of it at any stage. On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Busumbala. Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang, Karana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, may I begin to thank the Honorable Ndeyasin for the good job he has done in presenting this report. But may I join my colleagues who rejected, who are not in support of the bill. I am not really in support of the bill. Honorable Speaker, I think when this bill was brought here before, we spoke lengthily and it was rejected. And now it is back again. Madam Speaker, what I have seen there, they said it is unenforceable. I think they don't want to just enforce it, that is why. It is enforceable because you have seen also there are laws that are enforceable. But why didn't they bring it here for us to repeal them? Why this one? I don't know the reason why you want to repeal this skin bleaching. Now, Honorable Sandu has quoted some correct versions here.
He's wrong. He's wrong.
Maybe wrong or right. For me, it's right. Which we know that Allah didn't want skin bleaching. So we are saying to Allah that what we have done is wrong. Because Allah make you black, and you say, no, I have to be white. So it means I tell Allah what you have done to me is wrong, to me. So I think we should be very careful. Honorable Speaker, I think these crimes we are talking about, and they are saying that it's a matter of choice. Yes, I know it's a matter of choice, but there are many things that is a matter of choice. Even stealing is a matter of choice. Why can't they leave people to steal? Because it's a choice for them. So we have the duty to protect our people, especially our ladies, our sisters and mothers. Even our brothers, because sometimes now even some men bleach. But we have a duty to protect them. So I think we should not encourage, because you know the chemicals they use to make these creams. You will never see these white men make this cream that will make them black. And we all attest to that. They are saying black is beauty. Why can't they make a cream that is black for them to be black? It's there. It's not there. Where? In Salou? Okay. So, Honorable Speaker, I think I'm not in support of it, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Nyebintan Karana. Honorable Member for Ilyasa, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Although I'll be so brief because the Sandu and Jara have spoken their mind, and if that being the case, I'll be so brief as much as I can. Honorable Speaker, and now I really want to ask the Justice Minister why they want us to repeal skin bleeding. That's my question. Why? Why are they very much concerned about this skin bleeding? That's my question. What is the motive behind it? Because if you talk about it, it's just hard to say it's an insult. It means that we are insulting ourselves, and that we are also mocking the Almighty God that what he has done is wrong. That's the bottom line. So I think there are certain issues looking at that are very important. I think the executive try to bring that to the National Assembly so that we can discuss that rather than skin bleeding. So that being the case, I don't want to waste our time. These are only a few questions I want to just Minister to answer for me. Please, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Ilyasa. Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabidi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And then let me also thank Honorable Ndeyasin Seka for that brilliant presentation that she did. Honorable Speaker, I think this issue that we're talking about is very simple and straightforward. For us as a committee, what we are just telling you is that skin bleaching should just be a matter of a choice for our women. That simply means we should not impose it on them, that we're going to put a law, and if you do this, you're going to pay this. People talk about African. You know what? One thing we have to understand, the Africanism that we're talking about, or the Pan-Africanism we're talking about, is a concept. It is not about bleaching. That is not going to make you an African, or that is going to take away the Pan-Africanism away from you. No. It is a concept. You must have that concept and develop it and understand what it means as an African. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, looking at this bleaching that you're talking about, what we are saying is that, how would you identify it? How would you meet with somebody on the street and say, this Madam Y or Madam X is bleaching? This is what we want to know. No, some people are saying that maybe your elbows, some that are black or whatsoever. No, sometimes the clothes that you wear or how they are exposed can lead to that. But not necessarily, some of them are not necessarily saying that because of the bleaching that we're doing. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I think this assembly should not...
Observation, Honorable Speaker. Allow me.
No.
Observation.
No.
What is your observation?
Allow me.
I'm not allowing you.
Honorable Speaker, you allow me.
Did he give you the permission?
I say no.
Okay, go ahead, please. Honorable Member for Latrikunda Savage, go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, during our committee engagement, we've engaged a series of stakeholders, and they all understand what it means. We don't have to have a law. We cannot dictate how our women should be. It's just a matter of let's go to the schools, let's go talk to our children, let's talk to our women to understand what it means. You talked about skin colors, you talked about the melanins or whatsoever. Let's sensitize them to understand. All what we are saying, all what we are just appealing to them by telling them, please, let us just repeal this. It has been there since 1990, since when? A long time. And it has never been acted upon. So why do we have to have it there? I think we're just appealing to this member of the assembly to at least repeal this. Let's repeal it. Let's allow the women to take care of, let them dictate themselves. Let them do what they want to do with their skin. Let's advise them that these are some of, if you do this and you can have X, Y, and Z, it will lead to that. But don't say, please, if you do this and you're going to go to court or you're going to do this and that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable members, can someone move that we sit beyond 6 o'clock to complete the business of the day? Cantora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion that we sit beyond 6 o'clock to complete this business, this particular bill before us. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honorable Member Woolly East.
Thank you. Seconded.
It has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly sit beyond 6 o'clock to complete the business of the day.
A report before us.
This report.
Yes? No. No.
It has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly sit beyond 6 o'clock to complete the business of this business of the day. Those in favor, please say aye.
Sorry, observation.
Aye.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Correction, sir. I move a motion for us to sit beyond 6 to complete this particular report before us. Yes, only.
Any honorable member second that?
Seconded.
Seconded. That this August Assembly sit beyond 6 p.m. to complete this report of the day. Those in favor, please say aye. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Let's proceed. On my list, Central Badibu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to join my colleagues to thank Honorable Nde Yassin for this wonderful report being given. Honorable Speaker, before the bill was referred to the relevant committee, I was not in support of the bill at the time, but today I'm in full support of the bill. The reasons are as follows. Honorable Speaker, democracy is built on foundations, and one of those foundations are choice. Choice is essential in democracy. Honorable Speaker, we have to just, reflect back when this law was made in this country. What was its impact, the impact that it created? Because laws are there to remedy situations. Laws are there to change from worse to good. Do you understand? But here, we made a law, the law that in fact made our women to be more vulnerable and to be more harassed. They were harassed at checkpoints. Do you understand? So, honorable members are saying that from the Pan-African point of view, if you're a black man, no, this is not about Pan-Africanism. If you are taking Pan-Africanism to be about skin bleaching, then you are misrepresenting the entire Pan-African society. Yes, that's misrepresentation. And the other thing is we are talking about, honorable member of Jara, is today you are not Pan-African. Today, by looking at your costumes that you put on, if we should go by Pan-Africanism, you are not an African.
Point of order.
So what I'm saying is...
Point of order.
What I'm saying is... Please, what I'm saying is...
What's your point of order?
Let us understand.
What is your point of order?
Let us understand.
Honorable member for Woodley East, you call him for point of order. What's your point of order, please?
Sit down. Honorable Speaker, let the honorable member address the speaker, not
Point of order.
Thank you.
Point of order, sir.
Thank you.
Point of order.
Honorable member for Central Body.
Point of order.
Address the honorable member.
I'm raising a point of order, sir.
Noted.
No. I'm raising a point of order. I want the honorable member to refer us to the...
What is your authority? What is your
My
authority?
point of order is...
Member for Kantora, please sit down.
I'm raising a point of order, sir.
On what authority? What's your authority?
Good. The authority I want to know from him. The authority from the member for Woodley East.
Sit down. Go ahead. Honorable member for Jar.
Thank you, honorable member of Woodley East. Honorable Speaker, members of this House must understand that our women, they should be at liberty to choose. We are not saying that go for skin bleaching. Nobody is campaigning or asking women to go for skin bleaching. We are not saying that. But this law is discriminatory. There are people who are affected by the law. That's why we are saying we lift up. So it's your choice. If your wife wants to do it, tell your wife to do it. Do you understand? If you don't want your wife to do it, stop it. That's your own moral problem. So, but we cannot stay here and say we have to stop this law, this and that. What are the justifications, Honorable Speaker? I want the honorable members to understand that this particular law is discriminatory. And we have looked at the laws that we are discriminatory and we repeal them. So when we come to this kind of law also, we cannot allow it to prevail. Do you understand? Some men will complain about women bleaching. Men are bleaching. Do we talk about that? Do you understand? And what do we define as bleaching? Now, what I want to appeal to the honorable members, let us not try to go out of the context. Do you understand? We are all Africans, we love Africans, but is it that only people with black color live in Africa? People with black skin, they only live in Africa? That's not the concept. So when we are talking about skin bleaching, we have to look at, from a different point of view. This is choice. Do you understand? Those who are talking here saying that this is haram, we don't need any preaching from anybody. I, for one, I need no preaching from anybody. Because we are not at a mosque or a religious center to preach me. That's between me and my Allah. And nobody will be there on that day to save me, except my deeds. So we should not be here to show who is more religious than each other. That's not the point. The point that we are making is how to live as a, as modern man and modern woman. Our thinking should be global. Democracy, you take the whole part of it or you leave it. But you cannot just take part and you want to leave the other part. No. Do you understand? If you want to be an Islamic state, go and live in an Islamic state. Do you understand? Gambia is a secular state, and what we are saying is, if your religion says don't bleach, don't bleach. Don't go near it. It's very clear. We are not saying that, we force people to do it. We are not saying that. But what we are saying, the dignity of women should be maintained. And I have seen where a woman was harassed, taken forcefully from the vehicle, accused of being, doing bleaching. Where are the evidences? That woman was demoralized, was dehumanized. So this is where we are looking at. So honorable members, let's open up our mind. Let us understand each other and see it as discriminatory and forge ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Central Badibu. May I now call for Honorable Member for Old-Yundum. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, let me thank the Committee on Health for a good teamwork. Also thank Honorable Ndeyasin Seka for giving us that brilliant presentation of the report. Honorable Speaker, I have just a few things to highlight with regards to this particular motion of bill, if you like. That is, if we are associating this motion to an issue of choice and the violation of human rights, yes, it could be for the violation of human rights. But if that is the case, we are violating the rights of people in this country each and every day. Because our young people in this country smoke cannabis, and that is a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. But they have been arrested for that. So we cannot associate it to choice, to say a woman need to have the choice to bleach their skins. This is a law. It has to be implemented. That is the right thing. And I think this National Assembly will do the right thing as well. The law is the law. Whether you are the president or the vice president or the last person in Kantora who is a farmer, they are equal. We have to implement it. We cannot just come to the National Assembly and say a woman has to be free by way of choice to bleach their skins. I think that is out of order. It should not be done. If we are associating it to choice, and that is the reason why we're going to repeal, then I think they have to stop arresting young people for smoking cannabis, and that is choice as well in this country. Honorable Speaker, I think we don't have to waste much time on this bill. For me, I am not supporting it, to be honest. I want it to be the way it is, because in this country, we have seen women bleaching. Even if they are not implementing the law, I mean, they are doing it. It is not discriminating anybody. Let it be like that. And then we forge ahead. But talking about skin bleaching in this National Assembly, as it now, I mean, it's creating another, problem outside this country. So I think we have to take the right decision not to repeal this particular bill, leave it as it is, and then we move as a country. Honorable Speaker, thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Old-Yundum. Honorable Member for Serakunda, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We're here to carry out a task for our people. And whatever we do must be in the interests of the people. We cannot defend the indefensible. And we must look at all issues on the basis of context. We assign the committee responsibility to review The bill entitled Skin Bleaching Prohibition Repeal Bill. The objective is to repeal a law that prohibits skin bleaching, and the way to enforce it is to be able to arrest, charge, and convict. And therefore, the person you convict becomes a criminal. That is the implication, that all those who bleach their skin should be arrested, charged, convicted, and classified as criminals. Is that what we want? Why has it been impossible to implement it? Because the wives of the VIPs themselves, wives of religious leaders, venerable leaders, people that you classify to be very much respected, have been bleaching their skins. Do you anticipate that all those people will be arrested, taken to court, convicted, and penalized for it? Let's be honest. If you're talking about religion, you must be honest and answer that question. If the wives of the most venerable religious leaders are found to be bleaching their skin, would you recommend that they should be arrested, charged, taken to court? Will you really? And be honest. So the reality is, it has been impossible to really implement the law because even those who crafted it, their very wives have been engaged in the act. And that's why it is saying that it will be a law for the poor and not for those whom you consider VIPs. If those people are ambassadors and they come into this country, or wives of other presidents coming into your country, would you call for their arrest for violating the law of your land? Or would you say, well, they have diplomatic immunity? The discrimination will come. So this is what is being said. Everybody knows that skin bleaching damages the skin. It could even cause cancer. It's not what anybody would do who is a lactating mother. It can affect the child. It is not to be promoted. We must educate people to respect who they are, be as natural as they could be, and live healthy lives. We all know that. Who is to be lectured on that? Nobody needs that lecture. But we are saying a problem exists. The question is, how do you address the problem? People with intelligence will address problems in a manner that actually solves the problem, not complicate it. You do not increase the problem. You try to minimize it and solve it. if we were to say as National Assembly members that we will have instead skin bleaching importation regulations, so that those who import it, those who sell it, would actually be convicted if they are found guilty, because we'll create a law to prohibit them from importing it, from distributing it. That is understandable. But we found people doing something, and now you say that those very people are going to be penalized for doing it. And those very people doing it constitute the very people who voted you to be in this house, whom you have not consulted. You are acting deliberately by your own might, because they have entrusted you with their power to come and act on their behalf. And when you are seeking their vote, you did not speak conscience to them, that if you elect me, this is what I'm going to do. So then, most likely, those people would not have elected you to come and come up with a law that will ensure that they are persecuted. So what is important...
Sorry, Honorable Member for Serakunda, sorry for interruption. Honorable Member for Ilyasa, please stop disturbing. Honorable Member for Serakunda, you can go ahead.
Yes, Honorable Member, Honorable Speaker, I am speaking on these terms that we selected National Assembly members so that they come here and look at our genuine concerns and help us to address them. I'm sure if members were to come up with a legislation, and they can come up with private members' bill, that we should ban the importation of skin bleaching creams, most likely you will get 100% support, because you are attacking the problem at the root, but you are not attacking the person. Because that person is a victim who is told that she is beautiful by having that appearance. You have people who have white skin using cream so that they can darken it and be under the sun, so that they can tan their skin, because that is considered to be beauty. Beauty is cultural. It is conceptualized by society, and therefore people adapt themselves to what is considered to be beautiful. That is a mindset. You change it through education, not through force. Because sometimes we are not even really honest, because sometimes those people will engage in those practices because those very men love them like that. They seek for them, sought after them, because of those very appearances. Sometimes they even take from their pockets and give them that money so that they'll be like that. Because it is when they are like that, they are revered. So where does the problem lie? The victim? So we're saying, let's consider those people doing these acts that harm their bodies as victims who need to be rescued. But we do so in the right manner. And my intervention, I touch on this, Honorable Speaker, because of the input of the members. I'm not aware anywhere where you say that it is this religious edict that says that if you bleach your skin, you are going to hell. Or that you can be taken to a court that is religious and then punished for bleaching your skin in any republic that calls itself Islamic. I'm not aware. And if the religiously oriented members know of countries that declare themselves Islamic and carry out Sharia, that if our women go there and they bleach their skin, there is a court where they can be taken and tried and convicted, then tell us. So where is your law? Are you making it, or is it real there? Now, if it is not there, that a skin bleached can actually lead to conviction in a country where Sharia operates, how much more a secular state that you want that law to operate in that manner? So we must be very careful in linking our convictions to law. Otherwise, we'll mislead the whole nation. Because we're not talking about promoting skin bleaching. We're not promoting those values. We are saying that a government decided to promulgate a law, enact a law, and found itself incapable of implementing it, and was implementing it selectively, where wives of immigration officers and immigration officers were once arrested all and kept for days, and they were being searched, and their husbands were going helter-skelter to try to rescue them. Eventually, when the person saw that they could be left, then they were left, never taken to court. Those were the types of selective justice that must be combated, because who's going to be there tomorrow in that position? And how will you utilize the position? So it is that vulnerability that we must eradicate. That is why it is said, let us repeal this law and let us look at the problem. And if members have private members' bill that they want to bring here so that we can attack the root, bring them. And we will support you in doing so. But let us not support what has brought about injustice, what has been implemented selectively, which could be implemented selectively. We should get rid of it. That is what the state is saying. It cannot be implemented. You can implement it selectively. Let's get rid of it. That's what it is saying. That's why the executive has brought this to us. As legislators, we should support it and get rid of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Serakunda. Honorable Member for Woodley East, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are already told that this is law, which has been here for many, many, many years. But it could not be implemented. That is what we are told. Law that cannot be implemented. And if you want to implement it, you have to do it selectively. And if you do it selectively, you are going to do it in a discriminatory manner. And that's what we don't want. We don't want law that will punish others and leave others. And that is the objective of this amendment, this repeal. We want to repeal it because we cannot implement it. We don't want to discriminate others. That is it. The root cause, in our first debate, I emphasized that. that somebody was talking about marijuana. Yes? But there is a law that prohibits production of marijuana, farming of marijuana, processing marijuana, possessing marijuana, and distributing marijuana. Where is the law that stops production of bleaching products, importing bleaching products, possessing building products? Why are those laws? So once all those laws are not there, you just want to punish the person who uses the product. That is not fair. Because that person is a victim. If there is no bleaching product in the market, it's not anywhere being produced in this country or imported to the country, these victims may be saved from the product. But that is not the case. So this is why we are saying, since it cannot be, the government that is bringing this here is saying they cannot stop the importation. They don't want to stop the importation. They don't want to stop the production or the sale of it. So they cannot stop the usage of it. So poor women who, by virtue of what they hear from their men, and this is, in fact, I want to use the word hypocrite. Because, this is my position.
Double standard.
Or double standard. Let me use double standard. It is us men who should change our behavior. It is us men who tell the women that being white or fair is what is beautiful. Musukoyo, Sasaboro, Itelekof. It's not the women. The women feel the way they are. But when you bring certain standards to them and encourage them to do it, in fact, it is some of these men who are buying these products for these women to use it. Yes, some of the men are using their money, giving it to women, buying it, and asking them to use it. So this is the situation. Do we need to criminalize such a thing? That is the issue. Do we need to criminalize such a thing? The state has allowed the importation. Do we need to criminalize it? If we criminalize it, are we fair to those who are using it, those innocents? Or should we use media? Should we use moral methods to educate them, enlighten them, so that they know that this is harmful to them? That is the issue we are being faced. So to go into religion and all that, I don't think that's why we are here. And if you ask the question whether white people do whiten their skin, I said yes. We already have history that says that white people also do that. And bleaching is all over the world. People are bleaching all over the world. And it has already been said. Last time I said it here also. How many tourists? In fact, Gambia is a destination for suntan. That is one of the major products for our tourism product. People come all over Europe to come and tan their skin under our sun, our beautiful sun. They tan their skin here. And I said, when I was in Europe, when they go back, when you see their color, you say, hey, it's from the tropics. And they are proud of that. And they spend thousands of dollars to come here to do that. So to say that white people don't do that, it's not true. They do that. And that is also not good for those people, because it's damaging their skin. I see people who come white skin, they tan their skin until to the extent that it is burnt. They are burnt until they have to go to hospital for treatment. Because that's how they see it. It's beauty. Beauty is being promoted everywhere. Whatever people see as beauty, they will do it. So it's only education that can actually minimize this or eradicate it. Not coercion or selective coercion. And the government in place is saying they cannot do that. They cannot implement it. It has also been said, how many people consulted your people to say whether we should maintain it or we should remove it without using these moral values or moral preaching? So for me, that's all that I have on this. We should use our brain, know that we are not doing this for ourselves, but we are doing it for our people. And repeal this discriminatory law against women. Use every means to enlighten them. Use every means to persuade them. Encourage them to understand that bleaching is not good for them. Not talk about their children. And then, we'll promote health through that. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Woodley Cantora, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, we are confronted with a bill that seeks to address issue of health hazard and issue of health implication. However, I try to use my lens. I don't want to be carried by sentiment or by religion. If I am to use my religious belief, then do I use my religious belief at the detriment of others? I thought it wise. Because not everybody believes in my faith. There are some people in the Gambia who are also Christian as well. So as a legislator, do I use my religion to make a verdict or to make a conclusion which will affect other non-Muslims in this country? When I also look at culturally, we are from a diverse culture. What is in my culture and what is acceptable in other culture differs. And I also try to make sure that, let me be more objective. Whatsoever I do here today would serve the best interest of the Gambia. And in doing so, I don't want to impose my beliefs or thoughts or norms, anybody. But then also, I will act based on conscience. I don't know if I go to bed, I will be at peace with it. And lately, I just laid my hand on something. And I thought it will enrich my debate. There has been references or referrals or recommendations that why not the state prohibits its importation as a solution to the problem. Because it was alluded in the report that the enforcing body, that is the law enforcement agency, found it difficult to implement such policy or law. As a result, that is why they recommend a repeal. But then also, I think the government, when they are bringing this particular bill to Parliament, they have done series of studies, series of assessment, and also looking towards areas where they can use or tactics to actually support these bills so they can be implemented. They understood that the problem lies from the importation. No bleaching product is being produced in this country. And if you go to the Parent Act, it does also call for prohibition for skin bleaching, but also it also calls for prohibition for sale and importation as well. It reads, any person shall not sell or import into the Gambia any of the cream or substance listed in the first schedule. They have listed so many varieties of products that it shouldn't be used or should not be even allowed to be imported in the country. So there, the problem is already addressed. The nightmare lies in the joint collaboration with the enforcement body and also the trade ministry to control this entry of these products. So the issue of government did not really bring a solution, or government did not import it, probably might be not understanding or not laying your hand on the original document, but it has already made provisions for all those steps to address the issue. Because I believe that just say that we ban bleaching does not only, it does not suffice for it to be effective. But you must know the root cause. You must know the entry point, where the problem lies, where do you stumble? So they understand that the stumbling block is from the importation. That is why the law or the act was very specific that there has to be a ban on this importation. And if you look at it, it also went in further, that is a restriction of sales and imported goods. Any item that is being recommended or that is being used for skin bleaching, they also recommend a restriction on sales. And they also even went further, Section 5, that prohibition and restriction of purchase and possessions. That if you purchase this, it's one thing. Also, if you are found possessing it in your shops, you should face the full court of law. And also, they also try to list so many notable products, about long list of them. The Color Extra, Matte Care, Tonight Cream, Tura Cream, Zarian Cream, so many listed of products that are associated to this skin bleaching. So I think there is no problem for us to do, there's no big problem for us. What we need to do is that to talk to them, to make sure to really implement this particular law. There is no need to repeal it. Let us maintain as it is, create more advocacy, talk to the custom officers at the ports, talk to the Ministry of Trade, to really, to really double the effort in terms of, intercepting these products. And also make a rigorous tour in shops, wherever they are found, these creams or items that are found, you can seize it because you have a legal backing as well. So it's more of we to acquaint ourselves with the legislations that are made in this parliament, and then of course help in that advocacy. So for me, I wouldn't really recommend for that because already there's a problem, and already the government has already given a solution to a problem. So the solution is to still enforce the ban or importation of these products.
Point of observation.
So for that reason,
point of
don't
observation.
mind it. For that reason, I would recommend us to leave the primary legislation, that is the primary act, as it is, and forget about repeal. Thank you for your indulgence.
Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Member.
Yes, I want to make an observation before you proceed.
You want what?
I want to make an observation before you proceed.
Observation?
Yes. Yes, thank you. I want the Honorable Member of Kantora to understand that this bill front of...
Who are you observing? From?
No, I'm making an observation.
From who?
The entire procedure. It's not out of order.
Out of order?
What do you mean out of order? I want to observe.
Honorable Speaker, that's out of order. Who are you observing?
No one. He's not observing anyone. Sit down.
Who are you observing?
Are you the... Yes. Are you the speaker?
No, the speaker can leave.
Honorable member for Central Body.
At your discretion.
Is it a point of order or you are observing?
No, I want to make an observation. With your permission. It's your discretion.
No, point of order.
No.
Not...
I think it's only point of order you can make. No. Honorable member for Upper Salum, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to equally thank the committee for coming up with this report, which is really going to help our committee or the plenary to make an informed decision. Honorable Speaker, I want to just give a brief, if I may call it, to lay a foundation. Because in the 1997 Constitution, Section 100, it tells us exactly who can bring bills or motions in this parliament here. If you go to also Section 76 of the 1997 Constitution, it also tells you who is responsible to oversee when bills are enacted here, which is the executive, primarily. Our role really is lawmaking. And once bills are enacted and assented by the president, then it's the responsibility of the executive to enforce those laws. Honorable Speaker, we are sitting here today, a member of the cabinet or the executive coming back to us, telling us this law that we have enacted, we are unable to execute this law. Essentially, that's what they're trying to tell us here. The law is there, but they said they cannot. Our responsibility essentially was to make the law. But they're coming back to us telling us, you know what, this law that you've actually enacted, we are unable to implement this law. So we need to change it. Essentially, that's what they're telling us. Yeah. So the issue we have here on the table, Honorable Speaker, is very simple, because the committee actually came up with a report. They said, based on the consultations they've made, the majority of the people said, you know what, this needs to be repealed. We understand that this is a choice. We understand that. We also understand that the issue of skin bleaching, we understand the medical implications it has. But we also understand the medical implications drinking alcohol also has. We know that. So if we have a law about skin bleaching, then we don't have any law about drinking alcohol. So when somebody stands to tell me, well, my religion, I respect that. But let's understand one thing here. We have more than one religion in this country. We have Islam, we have Christianity, and we also have non-believers in this country. Are we making laws for a particular religion? I don't believe so. Essentially, when we are making laws, we must be cognizant of the fact that we live in a society that consists of both Muslims, Christians, and non-believers. We must not make laws particularly for a particular religion, but we must embrace all the religions we have in this country. Honorable Speaker, I think the report is very clear. This is about choice. But the implementation is a problem. So if you have a law that you cannot implement properly, why do you have to have it? Why do you really need to have a law that you cannot implement? So I think that's exactly what the issue is. I would agree with those that said maybe the minister should go back, create another law that is actually enforceable. I don't have a problem with that. But the way it is right now, they cannot. And I think it's very clear, if we don't play double standards here, we know exactly what's happening in this country here. Some members will be in trouble today when they get home. We know that. No. They will be in trouble. Let's not play double standards here. Now I'm telling you a fact.
It's left to them now.
You know, see, when we are doing things, let's say the way it is. Let's say the way it is. The reason why some of these women are doing this skin bleaching, you know why? It's because of you men. I'm telling you, it's because of you. Do you think they're going to do that for themselves? No. So let's really be very fair to our own people, and let's be fair to ourselves, and let's say it the way it is. Let's say it the way it is. Okay? So I think it's very important that we really listen to the minister, because if I remember the last time when he said this thing came by way of decree, if I understand it right, by way of decree. That's exactly what he said the last time. It came by way of decree, but he is saying that I cannot do it. Can you imagine a law enforcement officer that is standing here with all the skin bleach and try to arrest somebody who's lost skin bleaching? Think about that. Is that doable? No, you cannot. Let's see the facts, my friend. I would agree if you're going to come back with a comprehensive law that is actually enforceable. That would also tell people equally about the dangers of doing what you are doing. I agree with that. But unless and until we have laws that are enforceable, we have laws that people actually clearly understand why the government is coming out with these laws. You know what? I think I'll go with this to ensure that we really repeal it. Honorable Speaker, I think, we are not trying to do a favor to anybody here. I think it's very clear. When you go to the actual bill itself, it's very clear. It tells you exactly what you can do in terms of importation and what you cannot do in terms of importation. But science is very interesting. They've listed 4 items. They said nobody is allowed to import any cream that contains 4 items. But guess what? There are other creams that women are using that do not contain those. How would we enforce that? Go check. An example is Medic Aid. Another one is Rivotril. Those ones do not contain those chemicals the government or the law actually has. It doesn't contain that. And it will bleach your skin. How would you enforce that? How would you know, or do we have any lab in this country that would test a cream whether it contains a particular chemical? Do we have that here? Oh, come on, my friend. Let's be realistic. If we cannot do it, let's do away with these laws and ask them or encourage them to bring other laws that we can actually enforce. I think that's the most important thing. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Pasalu. Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I don't in fact want to talk on this issue for the simple fact that I had made my decision the other time. But notwithstanding, I have heard from various speakers, there is nobody here who is saying that skin bleaching is good. Health-wise, we all agree so that it is not good. So, something which we know that it is not good, it has health implications. And there is no religion here which will tell you that skin bleaching is good. No religion. Let us not try to speak and say that certain religions say this or that. No, there is no religion who will say that skin bleaching is good. I, for one, will not be a party to say that it has to be repealed. It has so many implications, Honorable Speaker. When we make it open, our students, they will be at disadvantage. There are so many issues here. Other speakers have mentioned it here. Smoking cannabis and stealing. They don't repeal those things. Why are they specifically saying skin bleaching? Why? There is nobody who is above the law. And if you look at the report, they said they cannot enforce it. All of us here, in hereafter, the Almighty Allah will ask us how we execute our duty. There is nobody who is above the law. If my wife happened to do skin bleaching, I am the one responsible for it. I will set example from that. You see that others will follow. As a leader, you have to show good examples. But if you don't show good examples and you want to make others straight, they will not. That's why some of the laws will not be implemented. But we are all speaking the same thing, Honorable Speaker. Let us guide our people. We are saying that, yes, we are making something here, If we want to make it a law, let all of us go back to our constituency and have discussion with our people. With our people. Let us go back to our people and talk to them about state bleaching. If they said yes, they want it, then we can come back and make it and repeal it. But other than that, if we stand here, sometimes we make certain decisions. It can create problems tomorrow, and we are going to be blamed. We are going to be blamed. Any laws that we make here, and it does not favor people, we are going to be blamed. So let us be very careful. Let us be very, very, very careful. I definitely am not in to repeal this. I want it to be there, and they try and enforce it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for Sami. Honorable Minority Leader, it's your turn, and it's the last on my list.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, if you listen to almost all the people who give their submission, skin bleaching, they are telling you is not good. That one is generally accepted. So I'm looking at it in a different perspective. I'm looking at the health implications first. Honorable Speaker, anything that can cause abnormality on your skin or that can give you some health implication is not good. It's never good. And I'm made to understand it gives you cancer. Even that child, that the woman born, suckling, can be affected. Look at that innocent child, very young, don't know anything yet. You are infecting that child. That child is infected by somebody who is fully matured, who can think what is good and what is right. And we say that is good. We say legislative, criminalizing that one is not good. So, Honorable Speaker, I think we must think deeply. Because it's the main, because of we want the fair-colored woman. But it's not the one that bleached. It is the one that is born naturally with that fair color. But when a woman bleach to a level you cannot even face her, give her your nose. What is Asabola? What is Asabola? What is Asabola? Because this bleaching, if you bleach to a level, in fact, even it causes odor in that house. This is why now you go in every house, you find curais everywhere. Because if you don't apply the cura, you cannot be with that odor in the house. Is that not health implication? That's serious. How can you be staying for the rest of your life every day putting cura because of odor? It's a reality. It's a reality. And definitely, if it is just about that, for me, I would definitely not support this one. If your people don't know the health implication and they elect you, it is your responsibility to make sure you don't legislate that law that will create a health implication on your people. Why are we all wearing masks? We are all wearing masks. Because we are trying to protect us from a disease. And this also is the same thing. It has a series of health implications that maybe even I don't know what is the level of degree. Okay, this is this skin bleaching normally do to our own women. Honorable Speaker, you see, I have looked at the report. I have looked at the report. The witness they invited. Honestly, Honorable Speaker, I could have loved they invite our religious leaders on this matter. But I know they dodge away from them. There's no problem, you can comment.
Honorable Member for Serakunda, you want to?
I just want to observe, and he has allowed me. I just want to ask the honorable member, yes, that mother with the child suckling, we see the danger, health danger. Now, is the solution arresting that mother and convicting that mother? And what would that have? What impact will that have on the child? I think that's really the issue. How do we fight that? Is it by conviction and arresting and turning that mother into a criminal, or another method?
No, actually, if you looked at it, the law have been decriminalized for years now. But they are saying they cannot implement it. So it is an issue, it is a little bit complicated. Why they cannot implement it? They know. The executive, they know why they cannot implement it. If you want to implement it and you also want to associate, if I implement it, I will not get my vote. That's them. We know the politicians. We know. We know. It is not that they cannot enforce it, but there is something that is depriving them from enforcing it. And you know, definitely, once you know that, okay, it is a bad law and it has health implications, there is nothing that should prevent you from implementing it. And they are saying it's selective. To me, it is not selective. It is a law that is criminalized. If you do it, the law will consume you. If you don't do it, the law will not consume you. Where is the selectiveness? Don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't do it, no police officer will come and arrest you because of you don't do it. It's when you go against the law. And Honorable Speaker, the other issue is schools are sending school children from school because of if they bleach. That's our schools. And our entire daughters are going in this school. So legalizing this one now, you are giving the children the right to be applying it, and then they will go to the school and they'll be sent back to home. Yes, it is happening. So what are we trying to create now in the society? Are we trying to create a confusion? We are trying to create a confusion within the society then. And I think we must look at this law critically. Definitely, skin bleaching, my God. I sometimes it surprises me when people are saying, it's because of beauty. The skin bleacher is never beauty. The worst thing of it, if you have small pimples on your face, that is at least that one you can at least. But then when it got worse, I just Google it. If you see the pictures, you get worried. You see, just look at the way this woman looks like. Who can say this woman is looking for beauty? Much more, he created more problem for her than even she leave it as it was. Because, and then once you start it, when it start making you ugly, you can never be beautiful anymore. If you leave it, that is the worst part of it. So honestly, we need to look at this law critically, very critically. If not, we will legislate something here, we legalize it, it will be affecting our own people, especially when it is recommended health-wide, it's not good. I don't think we are here to legislate laws that will promote illness in our own people, or that will deform the beauty of our own people. Honorable Speaker, I have a question to the committee. Why during their consultation? Because this law, our religious groups are very important in this law. Why they did not invite them as a witness? They're listening to them also. Because if you looked at it here, we are here discussing about it, others are quoting about our religious leaders, because they are stakeholders in this thing. They could have been invited, and we sound their opinion. So, Honorable Speaker, on that one, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Member for Woodley West, it's your turn.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, I'm worried, very worried indeed, because you see, this institution is supposed to be the institution to make laws to guide and protect people. Members of this institution are supposed to be lawmakers, meaning these are individuals who are so broad-minded that when they seek to make law, that they divert themselves from sentimentalism and emotions. You cannot be a lawmaker and be sentimental. You cannot be a lawmaker and be emotional. You must be completely free from all these things to be able to make law to serve people. You are being told that here is a law which has been in existence for years, it does not work. And you are still saying that it should be there. And you are the one who made it. They are telling you the law you have made is not applicable. It is just there like a photo. In fact, a photograph is being picked because you can look at it and enjoy it. But this one is not applicable. And you are still saying that it should be there. Before I go to any other matter, once upon a time, we ratified 2 loan agreements in the old chamber there, some years ago. Seemingly they were very good agreements, but right from scratch, Honorable Ba and myself said this was false. They didn't hear us. They didn't accept what we said. We ratified them. Few months after, they were brought, they said they were false. That means that they were telling us, you are incompetent. Because we are not able to know whether or not this is good or not bad. The executive brought it back and said this is nonsense. Even though it originally came from there, they came for us to see whether it is valid or not valid. Now here is a law which was enacted by this very institution. And it has been in existence for years. And now the executive is telling you this is not applicable. And we are still insisting that it should be there. Okay. I've listened to members, they made comparisons. How can you compare a choice of stealing and a choice of bleaching my skin? There is a law which criminalizes stealing. So if you steal, you know you are going to be charged for it. How can you compare that to bleaching your skin? That's a very bad analogy. And above all, cigarette smoking. Many people here were smokers or are still smokers. And everybody knows, even a kid knows, smoking causes cancer. Google and see how many people are being killed by smoking. Why have you not made a law against that? Why have you not banned smoking, which is killing people here? And in fact, it is more dangerous than skin bleaching. You smoke, you affect anybody who is in the environment in which you are smoking. In fact, it's more dangerous than even smoking. To inhale a smoker's smoke is more dangerous than smoking itself. But no law has been made. You know, in 1998, a colleague brought a private member's bill to ban smoking in public, not to ban smoking, but to ban smoking in public spaces. You know what the smokers' reaction were in the parliament then? They were angry because the room where they were smoking was banned. And these were legislatures. Everybody knows that smoking is bad. You go to Britain, where cigarettes are fabricated. It's written on every packet, smoking is dangerous for your health. Why did they make a law to stop it? Choice. It is your individual choice. You smoke, it's your business. When that's why you are banned to smoke on buses. You are banned to smoke in public spaces. But it is your choice to smoke in your room, where you infect your child, your wife, everybody who goes into your room is infected. And we are not talking about that. Honestly speaking. Nobody is promoting skin bleaching here. But we are saying that a law, in fact, in what circumstances was that law promoted? Tell me, who brought that law? And how was it enacted? In what circumstances? All the same, it is a law which is like dead. It has never worked. And wherever it worked, it victimizes somebody who is somewhere else. Not everybody. In fact, at the time that law was being promulgated, the person who was at the head of the helm here, the wife was bleaching. Those who knew the wife at the time was bleaching. Why was that wife not arrested and criminalized, convicted? It is not by making this law which has stopped or is going to stop bleaching. In fact, it has proliferated bleaching. More people are bleaching now than ever before. Even men are bleaching here in this country. It was a practice, it is a practice in Nigeria, it is also here now. So it is not the question, the question is not bleaching, making a law to stop it, no. Any law which has no foundation, which is awareness, understanding, education, you are just wasting your time. And of course, this room, me, I'm not elected to come here to defend any religion. I'm not elected to come here to promote any religion. I'm elected to come here to speak on behalf of those who elected me, to serve the people, to talk about what serves their supreme interest. And if you talk about how many religions are there in the Gambia, what about those who don't believe in religion? They are Gambians too. There are many who don't believe in any religion in the Gambia. They are also Gambians like me, like you, Christians, non-Christians, Buddhists, and all the rest. They are all here. So you just stand here and talk about just one religion. These are not the issues that we should be talking about. We should be talking about what serves the people we are serving here in this country. That's what is it. What serves them. And nobody should go out and say somewhere promoting skin bleaching. No one. We all know it is bad. Because we also know that smoking is bad. And you are smokers. There are smokers here. I know a clerk who smokes is sitting here. I know an MP who is smoking is sitting here. And that clerk and that MP are affecting their kids and their wives in their homes. What's the problem? You cannot make a law to impose law on people. Laws are not oppressive in intent. No law is oppressive in intent. The intent of every law is to protect and to deter, to guide you, to do what is good for you and for others. So don't think that this law is just, if you leave it here, that's, you people are funny. The law has been here for more than 10 years, and it has served no purpose. What is the problem now? Okay. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this.
Thank you, Honorable Member Woolly West. Honorable Member for Lower Salum.
Honorable Speaker, I wanted to make my intervention, but now I will reserve my opinion because both the veterans has already spoken. So I want the minister also to convince me on his article. Then whereby I will take my when there is voting, then I will know my position. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that withdrawing. Honorable Member for Banjul North is last now. Then I call the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
I didn't see your tab.
I wanted to be the last person before. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I don't think there is much to debate about, because those who are really in support of the repeal of this law have made the case. The presenter too, in presenting the report, had made the case. There is nobody here who is promoting skin bleaching. It's very clear. And it would be very dishonest for any National Assembly member to go outside to say that some National Assembly members were promoting skin bleaching. That is not the issue here. This is a law that has been in place, and is still in place. Is skin bleaching stopped in the country? And that's the double standard they are talking about. The law is still in place. And people are still bleaching their skin. For 25 years. And there are those who are supposed to be enforcing it are telling us that this is something that we cannot enforce. In the previous session before this, during the reading, second reading, in fact, proposal was even made that if we even want to stop it, let's increase the taxation on the products. This is one way of doing it. And that's the root cause, addressing the root cause. Let's introduce taxation. Let's increase the tax on these products. Identify all the products. The honorable member is saying there are even some products that are not even included in the act, the decree, the law. Let's identify all those and then impose high tax on them. This can help. But that's how to fight skin bleaching. Gambia is a secular state. No one should also come here to pretend as if you are more religious. And by the way, it's very unfortunate that if members stand here to speak, they should be speaking on behalf of the whole Gambia. Yes, we are elected through constituencies, because that's the constitution. It's only the president whose mandate stretches everywhere. But for National Assembly members, we cannot have elections for each National Assembly member, for all those eligible voters in the Gambia to vote for a National Assembly member. That is why the country is divided into constituencies. But we are elected, none of us is elected to serve a particular constituency here. We are all elected to serve the Gambia. And by the way, I even want to make a motion. What I've seen on the screen here, I'm seeing it the first time, is wrong. I am Usman Silla, I should be Banjul, not Doi. But that's what I've seen. So this is an anomaly. It has to be rectified. It's just a digression, but it's very important. When we stand, we said, member for Banjul, not for my party. I'm representing the Gambia here, not Doi. None of us is representing your political parties that sponsored your candidature. You are representing the Gambia here. So this thing has to be rectified. But this is just aside. We are here representing the Gambia. We are representing Muslims, people who are Muslims. We are representing people who are Christians. We are representing...
Honorable member for Banjul North, your point is noted.
Okay.
Observation, I think the technicians will take care of that.
Okay, thank you.
You.
Thank you. We are representing even those who do not believe. That is the oath we have taken. We were sworn in to serve the Gambia and serve Gambians. So it is a double standard for someone to come here and stand as if you are promoting what particular religion. You are doing a disservice to the people of this country. And you are not even worthy of being called a National Assembly member. National Assembly member. So we really have to stop playing to the gallery and be really committed to serving our country. And the unfortunate thing also is that you will stand here and state your position. State your position. It is also courteous. It's also expected of you to sit down and hear our arguments. Because we are here to be convincing each other. We shouldn't be conservative. We shouldn't be patriarchal. We shouldn't be anti-women. Sometimes that's the posture one can see here. Anti-women postures. And then they are the ones who constitute the majority of the electorate. We go for their votes.
It has been said we shouldn't be sentimental. We shouldn't be allowed to be controlled by emotions. Let us be objective in our position. And the objectivity is that this is a law that cannot be enforced. It is in place, yet the practice that it seeks to criminalize is proliferating. It's still intensifying in terms of, application of the chemicals in bleaching, the practice. The practice is intensifying, it's unabated. What should we do? The committee consulted. Somebody asked whether the religious leaders were invited. Yes. Because the committee was given a series of bills to consider. And in fact, the witnesses that we've identified, for all the bills that were before us. The Christian Council was before us. The Supreme Islamic Council was before us. They came, they were witnesses. And for some reason, they did not come when we were considering this. But they were invited. And in fact, this is not even religious. Why should we